Well, guys, it is now time for my Week 9 picks of the 2024 NFL season, as last week I went 11-5, although I think I did terrible with the 4 p.m. games, which kind of screwed me over, but again, another good week, although still would have been nice to have gone 12-4, that would have been the best results. And of course, here's the playoffs, the regular season and playoff stands at the season end of the day. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs with the bye, with Chargers at Texans, Ravens at Bills, and Broncos at Steelers. And in the NFC, it's the Lions with the bye, with Eagles at Commanders, the Vikings at Falcons, and the Packers at Cardinals. And my Super Bowl prediction would be the Lions over the Chiefs. Alright, so now let's get to my Week 9 picks. Starting off with Thursday night tonight, as it's the Texans at the Jets for the second year in a row. As the Jets won the last two, the Texans haven't beaten them since 2018. As the Texans held on, beat the Colts. Huge win for them as they have the tiebreaker now, and they have a 2-game lead, and they're in good position to still try and maybe challenge for a number 1 seed in the AFC. Meanwhile, the Jets blew it against the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers played good, but the defense crapped the bed near the end as they blew it once again, as they have like one of the longest losing streaks in the league right now. Now, almost 5 in a row. Yikes. Definitely not looking good there. Now, remember the Texans got destroyed by Jets last year, so who knows? Maybe the Jets could do another win once again, but I don't trust them at the moment, so I'm going to pick the Texans for this one. Alright, then we get to Sunday action, as it's a big NFC game, as it's the Cowboys at the Falcons for the first time since 2018. The Cowboys won the last 3. The Falcons haven't beaten them since 2017, as the Cowboys got spanked by the 49ers, even though they made the score close at the end. And the Falcons beat the Buccaneers in a very important game, as they now have the tiebreaker over the Bucs, and now they have the lead in the division, which is really huge. And not fully trusting either one of these teams right now, but Cowboys are really in, so I'm going to pick the Falcons for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys get it. And then a huge matchup in the AFC, as it's the Broncos at the Ravens for the first time since 2018. As the Ravens won the last 2, the Broncos haven't beaten them since 2015, and they haven't won in Baltimore since 2012. As the Broncos beat the Panthers last week, as Bo Nix put up 3 touchdowns, looking very good, as they have one of the league's best defenses. Meanwhile, the Ravens once again have the league's best offense, but their defense is so dog shit that they let the Browns beat them in the end. Told you why you shouldn't underestimate the Browns when they host the Ravens, even when they struggle. So yeah, this will be probably awesome. One of the league's best defense against the league's best offense. That would be fun, but I'm going to pick the Ravens for this one. And that's the Dolphins at the Bills, as the Bills won the last 4. The Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2022, and they haven't won in Buffalo since 2016. As the Dolphins, yay, Tua's back. I didn't say anything about him being back last week, because I didn't think he was going to come back in time, but he was back. Of course, they still lost to the Cardinals. They blew it in the end. As the Bills, meanwhile, looking at the schedule, since it won't come up the top of my head, there we go. They destroyed the Seahawks last time out. My goodness, they destroyed the Seahawks, much to Mayumi's expense. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Bills for this one, of course. Alright, then it's the Saints at the Panthers. The Tank Bowl! As the Saints won the last 3, the Panthers haven't beaten them since 2022. And they haven't beaten the Saints at home since 2021. So, of course, the Saints got destroyed by the Chargers last time out, as they've now lost 6 in a row, which I think is the longest losing streak in the league right now. Meanwhile, the Panthers, of course, got spanked by the Broncos. Bryce Young played, and he actually had his best game of the season. But even his best game of the season was still pretty mid. That's wild, as nothing's going right for them. But man, a team that's reeling 6 in a row losses and not looking good whatsoever, with one of the league's worst defenses, plus another team with one of the league's worst defense. I don't know how I keep getting this like 37, all that. Really annoying. So, yeah. Who do you trust in this one? I think overall I still might just barely pick the Saints because they have better players, but man, that's almost like a coin flip now. Alright, so then it's the Raiders at the Bengals for the first time since 2018, as the Bengals won the last one. The Raiders haven't beaten them since 2019, and they haven't won in Cincinnati since 1995. So the Raiders, of course, actually put up a good fight against the Chiefs, but in the end they couldn't win, as they now lost 4 in a row. Meanwhile, the Bengals got spanked by the Eagles, as Burrow did not play good, and that defense got smoked. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Bengals for this one. And then we go down here. Next up is the Chargers at the Browns for the first time since 2018. As the Chargers won the last three, the Browns haven't beaten them since their only win in 2016. So, of course, the Chargers spanked the Saints, like I said, as they got to 4-3 as their one win away from matching a record from last year. Meanwhile, the Browns told you all they could still beat the Ravens, and I was right, as famous Winston, he didn't open up his bakery this week, but he cooked big time with 3 touchdowns and provided the Browns with a spark, which they have not had yet this year. Now, was that just a fluke because the Ravens' defense is horrible, or is that a trend that maybe Winston will become the new guy that they need? As they're going to have to go up against one of the league's best defenses, so good luck with that regard. I would not underestimate the Browns. Maybe this team could finally be legit again with Winston playing, but I'm still going to pick the Chargers for this one. But like with last week, I won't be surprised if the Browns get it. Alright, then it's the Commanders at the Giants, as the Commanders won the last one. The Giants haven't beaten them since 2023, and the Commanders haven't won East Rutherford since 2021. As the Commanders, what a comeback that was! That Hail Mary deflected into the end zone. Insane! Absolutely insane, as they've already exploded their win total from last year, but I already said that before. Still have one of the league's best offenses and such, although their defense started to play a lot better now recently because these last 2 weeks, I think. Looking really solid. Looking like up there's maybe one of the best teams in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Giants, hard-fought game, but they couldn't beat the Steelers at the end. And yeah, I'm going to pick the Commanders for this one. Alright, then it's the Patriots at the Titans for the first time since 2018. As the Patriots won the last one, the Titans haven't beaten them since 2018. And the Patriots haven't won in Nashville since 2012. So the Patriots got their second win of the year, beating the Jets, but it did cost them Drake May, who suffered a concussion, I think it was, so we're not even sure if he's going to be playing this week. It sucks, too, because that team's played a lot better with him as a starter and such. Meanwhile, the Titans got obliterated by the Lions, but is anyone really surprised? I'm pretty sure everyone expected that. They have, one of the league's worst offenses, just like the Patriots. But they still have, one of the league's best defenses other than points allowed. It's really interesting how that's the case. But, man, this is a tough one. Because I don't know if Drake May's play or not. If Drake May was playing, I probably would easily pick the Patriots. But, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Alright. Maybe I'll have to do, the injury pick. If May does play, I'll pick the Patriots. But if he doesn't, I think I'll pick the Titans and trust their defense. So it's going to come down to if May plays or not. Alright, so then we get to our 4 p.m. games. As it starts off with a big one, as the Bears are at the Cardinals for the first time since 2018. As the Bears won the last one, the Cardinals haven't beaten them since 2021. And they haven't won at home against the Bears since 1998. So the Bears lost a tough one to the Commanders, which they had until the final play of the game with that Hail Mary, which is unfortunate for them. Because remember, the NFC is... Honestly, the NFC might be the best division conference this year. That league, that division, that conference is loaded, especially the NFC North, where everyone has a winning record right now. So they can't afford to lose, the Bears are. So that was really unfortunate for them. And how about the Cardinals? They have now matched their win total from last year after they beat the Dolphins. And they lead the NFC West. I bet no one thought that at this point of the year the Cardinals would be the division leader right now. Absolutely insane. So again, who do you trust more in this situation? And even though the Bears have that elite defense, I think I'm going to still pick the Cardinals for this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears get it, though. Alright, then we get to our original Sunday night game that was flexed out. As it's the Jaguars at the Eagles for the first time since 2022. As the Eagles won the last 4, the Jaguars haven't beaten them since 2006. As the Jaguars had a hard-fought game, but they just couldn't beat the Packers in the end. But hey, looking really good the last 2 weeks, even if they couldn't win one. Meanwhile, the Eagles absolutely obliterated the Bengals as they now won 3 in a row and such. Elite defense. Offense looked really good last week. We'll see if they keep that momentum up. And yeah, I'm going to pick the Eagles for this one. And then it's a huge, huge NFC matchup, as it's the Lions at the Packers. The Packers won the last one. The Lions haven't beaten them since 2023, and the Packers haven't won at home against them since 2021. So the Lions, of course, obliterated the Titans, as somehow their defense still doesn't look really good, but their offense, although their offense doesn't look that really good either, believe it or not, but still is the best team in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Packers, hard-fought game as they beat the Jaguars, but of course, Jordan Love once again not only didn't play good, he got injured for the second time this year, and Malik Willis had to finish the job. Imagine being 6-2 and not really doing anything with Jordan Love so far. Yikes. That's not really good. So, once again, I have no idea if he's going to play. But I really kind of don't trust the Packers at this situation. While their record is impressive, they have not impressed me this year like they did last year so far. So, I'm actually going to pick the Lions for this one. And that's a big NFC matchup as it's the Rams at the Seahawks. As the Rams won the last two, the Seahawks haven't beaten them since 2022. And whoever wins this game could lead the NFC West depending on what happens with the Cardinals. So, huge game for these two right here. So, the Rams, of course, beat the Vikings on Thursday night as Stafford put up 4 touchdowns. I think Nakua was back, so that's why they did so good finally, because maybe Kupp can come back soon, because that was a big reason why they struggled without Kupp and Nakua. So that was huge for the Rams to get that win. Meanwhile, the Seahawks got obliterated by the Bills. I bet no one was surprised about that one. And I might go against my better judgment, but I'm going to pick the Seahawks for this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams get it. Alright. Then we get to Sunday night that was flexed in. The rematch of 33-0 2 years ago. As it's the Colts at the Vikings for the first time since 2022. As the Vikings won the last one, the Colts haven't beaten them since 2020. And the Vikings haven't won at home No, they haven't won in Minneapolis since 2016. So the Colts, of course, lost a close game to the Texans, and they are doing a QB change as Richardson is benched, as Flacco's going to come in. Even though statistically Flacco was better than Rich, I don't know if it's necessarily the wisest decision, though. It's a little concerning. Meanwhile, the Vikings, Darnold played good, but they still couldn't beat the Rams in the end. And they're really starting to give me vibes of 2016 Vikings when they start off 5-0. They're doing the exact same thing so far. This could be a close game, especially with Flacco being the starter. I'm going to pick the Vikings still for this one, but hey, I will not be surprised if the Colts get, because the Vikings really are giving me the 2016 vibes. I'm seeing them collapsing now. And then we get to Monday night. It's a big one, as it's the Buccaneers at the Chiefs for the first time since 2016, as the Chiefs won the last two. The Buccaneers haven't beaten them since 2016, and the Chiefs have not beaten the Buccaneers at home since 1986. My God, it's been so long. So the Buccaneers, they lost to the Falcons. That was a crucial loss. They now lost 2 in a row, and man, not having Godwin and Evans really does suck. As Baker Mayfield, while he still put up a lot of touchdowns, he's put up too many interceptions. I could see him potentially put up like 40 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. I really could see that potentially be the case. But a tough loss. Meanwhile, the Chiefs beat the Raiders, and Mahomes finally had a good game for once, as they're now 7-0 and trying to go 8-0 for the first time since 2018. Still not really impressed with the team overall, except their defense. Man, this is a tough one, actually. I really want to pick the Buccaneers, because I really don't trust the Chiefs, but I really can't. I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs for this one, but man, if it wasn't for their defense being horrible, if it wasn't for Godwin and Evans being injured, I really would probably pick the Buccaneers in an upset, but I just can't trust them right now with all the injuries. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs for that. And those are my picks for Week 9. I cannot wait for Texans at Jets tonight. So my picks are the Texans over the Jets, the Falcons over the Cowboys, the Ravens over the Broncos, the Bills over the Dolphins, the Saints over the Panthers, the Bengals over the Raiders, the Chargers over the Browns, the Commanders over the Giants. Patriots or Titans, it's going to depend on if May plays. I pick the Patriots, but if he does, I'm going to pick the Titans. The Cardinals over the Bears, the Eagles over the Jaguars, the Lions over the Packers, the Seahawks over the Rams, the Vikings over the Colts, and the Chiefs over the Buccaneers. Alright guys, so see you all next week for my Week 10 picks.